What's up, everyone? Welcome to another District Gooner Pod. I'm KP. This is episode 62, and with me to chat everything Arsenal is my co-host, Steven. Say hi to the people.
Howdy. It's been 48 hours since the massacre, man. How we doing?
I'm doing all right, dude. I think, the 4-day weekend kind of started out with the vibes being sour, honestly. I felt like I would have rather us lose a fair game than to have that draw and result on Saturday morning. The injustice that it felt, I've been annoyed with it for 48. I feel like I wouldn't have been as annoyed if it was just a pure loss based on performance.
That's facts. It's crazy. Third game of the season and just already that bitter feeling, We just started this thing. I'm happy the new season started. Football's back. Hype about it. And then it's like third game of the season. Already with some crazy BS. It's like, it's hard to get up for it, Sometimes it's going to be hard to get up for it.
It is, dude. Obviously, look, match week 3 in the bag now, in the books. The table as it stands, let me see. The table as it stands, Man City are first with 9 points. Liverpool following them second with 9 points. Brighton are sitting third now with 7, and Arsenal in fourth place, 7 points. Still unbeaten. I think there's something to say to that going into the international break. Good feeling. But the results, 1-1 against Brighton. Look, I think now that some time has passed, everyone listening has their own opinion. Everyone has heard all the talking points. I'm not really here to repeat everything with that decision. I'm just here to say how sad it is that we have to witness this level of officiating for the best league in the world, because I'm just not shocked by it. People are saying how much they're in disbelief that a decision like this has been made, but there's already been a trend this season. So it's just not that surprising. It was coming. Great. I feel like we just have to move, dude. How do you feel about everything and the main talking point of that decision and how it impacted the flow of the game?
It changed everything. Ultimately, the game was there for us to win. Before the red card, we were in control, in my opinion, had the chances, got our goal. Red card occurs. Directly after that, the Brighton goal. I still think that's something we could have prevented. I've heard a lot of blame going towards Partey. Heard a little bit of blame going towards Raya for putting it back into the middle. I don't understand those fingers being pointed in those directions. I think we could have handled that easily. But even after that, 1-1, we had the chances. We still controlled the game, in my opinion. Could have came out with the 3 points. It just didn't happen. It's kind of simple as that. Yes, the red card absolutely hurt us, leading to the 1-1. But even after the 1-1, to me, we had control of the game. It was in our hands.
It was interesting. Brighton really didn't have that many chances in the first half, especially. I can't remember any, dude. When we went to halftime and it was 1-0, I was so confident that we were going to win that game 2-0. I had 2-0 on the pod, and I felt good, dude. It just had that written all over it. I did fear going into halftime that because Thomas Partey also got a yellow card right near the end of the half, and then that meant both him and Declan Rice were on a yellow. And in the first half, Odegaard was playing on one leg for 20 minutes. So I was shocked that there was no substitutions made at halftime in that midfield, because we basically put 2 people out there from the beginning, with those 2 being on yellow and Odegaard being half a leg. Not great, I think. And why do we have J20 on the bench? Why do we have Waneri on the bench? We're going back to these situations where you have people on the bench, but they're not being used, when it feels like maybe they should have been used at halftime.
Interesting takes. I would say Odegaard for sure. He was hobbled, right? That was a nasty one for him. He was absolutely hobbled and didn't perform to the level we expect from him. They did take him off early, but I guess to your point, a little too late, right? You got players on the bench that can come in and put in the 100%, while Odegaard's at 75. Maybe you make the change earlier. Even at that, so 49th minute, kind of walk me through it. You've made a few points to me, walking through the process of the red card to the Brighton goal. and it makes a lot of sense in my eyes. So let's shed some light.
Dude, I want to preface this by saying I'm not saying like manager out. Like let me just get that very clear. I know the internet can just take things and run away with it, dude.
Let me jump in there. So we talked about people pointing the finger at Partey, people pointing the finger at Raya, even Gabriel. I think he could have won that ball, and you can see Saliba move off of it, right? So yeah, why Saliba? Why aren't you jumping in? Oh, I thought Gabriel was going to win the ball. I think there's a lot of different places you can look at. You can also look at the manager. It's fair enough to say this, right? It's fair enough.
Yeah, why was there such a huge gap between the center backs? I don't know. It wasn't because of Thomas Partey. He was just he was one midfielder at that point. There was only 10 men. I'll tell you what, man, the red card happens. You can feel beyond just the players, the stadium is shocked. The atmosphere went so quiet, dude, like after the restart. So I have a problem with the manager for his game management after we got the red card. It took too long for us to make a change. It just did, dude. The foul, the situation happens around little after the 47th minute. You have all the rumbling and tumbling, so that takes up about 2 minutes. 49th minute is how they have it marked as him officially getting the yellow and the red. In the 50th minute is when play officially restarts. So there was already 3 minutes there, right, of non-game play. Play restarts at the 50th minute. 51st minute, the ball goes out of bounds for Brighton. And then the ball is in play for a full 2 minutes, dude. 53rd minute, Brighton get another throw in. And then 54th minute, Brighton are offside. After that, in the 55th minute, we get a throw in. In the 56th minute, we get a throw in. A little after the 56th minute, again, we get a throw in. And then after that, in the 57th minute, we get a throw in. And we finally make a change. 7 minutes of gameplay has passed. We've had multiple opportunities already to make a change, dude. You put the gameplay aside, 10 minutes has just passed. It's too long. When we're talking about the margins, I think the margins also apply to the managerial margins. You have to make a decision within 5 minutes of a red card. We have to make a change within 5 minutes of a red card, dude. 7's too long. 10's too long. And this is why I'm saying I'm saying manager out. The next time we get a red card, that's what I'll be looking for. 5 minutes have passed. Have we made a change? Did we learn anything from this situation or not? But it took too long, dude. And the managerial margins have to be also discussed. And I have no doubt that we'll learn from this. And it was too early, maybe in the season, maybe situational practice hasn't been there. Maybe we weren't fully prepared. But let me ask you this, dude. As soon as that red card happened, what was your immediate thought as to who should come off?
It would probably be an outside wing, and it would be Trossard.
Immediately. Your first thought is Trossard. So why did it take so long to maybe decide who to pull off? Is the question around who to put on? Then tell me, who was your immediate reaction that you thought, oh, maybe he should come on for Trossard?
And that's it. I guess you'd put in either another center mid. We just lost Declan Rice, who covers a ton of ground, right? So I'm either going to throw in another center mid, or I'd put in a defender like we did and go 5 in the back with 2 wing backs that can play up the field, right? And I think, to your point, the 5 in the back worked. We got 2 great chances after the fact, right? We're a stranglehold team. Like, we're going to basically be boa constrictor. Like, they created nothing. They had the one chance, I guess, where Raya had to jump across and make the save off a deflection, whatever. So I guess give Brighton that. We had a 1-on-1 with Kai, and then we had the ball with Saka, where he was on the stretch, didn't put it in. But we moved to a 5 in the back. Guess what? When that ball went through, our 2 center backs that were split super wide because they got no protection in the center mid, I think we would have handled it pretty well, right? In retrospect, like basically making your point like maybe he's talking facts. But if we had 5 in the back at the time, it makes sense. I do think it is weird that it took so long to make the change, because a change, it's like begging for a change. Declan Rice, someone that covers a ton of ground, is such a linchpin in our midfield, goes out. Something has to change, right? We need another person with legs in the team to come on. Has to. Absolutely has to. It didn't happen. I even thought Kai would be dropping into the midfield at the time, and that didn't happen. He stayed high. So I at the time, I don't really know what the change was for those what are we saying, 10 minutes? I don't really know what it was.
Yeah, it took too long, dude. And I think you ask any Arsenal supporter who would be their immediate thought to take off, it's Trossard. You just know, okay, we have to make a change. We need runners. Leo's coming off. And then you think, maybe, I personally, at first I thought, okay, take Leo off as soon as it happened for Martinelli. And yeah, drop Havertz into the midfield. I thought that would, and then, Saka goes up top. I thought that would be maybe what we go with. But Richie, I also thought, hey, maybe take Trossard and just bring on Richie. We just need stability right now because the players look shell-shocked, the stadium looks shell-shocked, and yeah, we're just not that far into the season. We've had some new faces. Maybe we don't have the situational preparedness for it, but I'm disappointed with how long it took for the managerial team to make a decision. But I hear you. Still, when they did make the decision and what we did see, I'm very happy with the point. I wanted the point ultimately, and the chances did come. I don't know, man. The TP5 people pointing fingers. There's people saying, if you have a killer up top, he scores that when he's through, right? I don't know. King Kai did his best. I was very impressed with his performance, dude.
He did his best on that chance for sure. I mean, I was even surprised he got it off. That dude was on him the whole time. I mean, he's a dog. Like, even on the chance for Saka, I thought the same exact thing. He had the wheels to get to it, to keep in front. And that was a right-footed cross from him. Haven't seen a lot of right-footed balls. That was a great cross. Saka just couldn't get his foot on it.
It was. It really was, dude. And so, I don't know. I just feel like there's some bias and stuff involved in that.
I want to go back to the goal. We had some discussions before this. I was very surprised Gabby did not go through that ball.
The goal that we conceded.
Correct. In real time, watching the game, great ball by Dunk. And to the fairness of Gabby, that ball was basically rotating into the path of the runner. Fantastic ball. Like Tony Cruz-esque. But in real time watching, I was like, Gabby's running through this ball. Saliba's right there. Really no chance of a dog, so he's right there. It's like he pulled out at the last second. You can see Saliba kind of run off to the side like he's going to win it and the ball's going to squirt out to me. Doesn't win the challenge. Obviously, Riot, what are you going to do? Point blank save. Puts it right back in the middle. But, I mean, what is he going to do? The ball was shot right at him. And then Pedro puts it in. To Partey's almost the same thing as Saliba. I think he thinks Gabby's going to win the ball, dude. He slows down. Like, to me, he sees Gabby and he lets up like, all right, we're winning this. Let's prepare for the next pass to me. No, he didn't win the ball though. So like that's what I don't like, the finger pointing and stuff. To me, you just win the ball. Like, you have to win that ball there. And we've seen him do it. I was surprised he didn't go in for the challenge.
It was an un-Big Gabby moment. I agree with you. When I was watching it live, I also just thought Gabby's got this. So yeah, and you can't tell Partey also. Yes, I hear the argument that he's not tracking. He is tracking, essentially, but he does kind of stop and slow down. But I don't know. To place blame in those directions, I don't know. I feel like it's not talked about enough how long it took for those changes to happen and how desperate we were for those changes to happen. And look, man, the bench was thin, right? The bench was thin, dude. Not having Jesus, it's just not great, dude.
Not having Jesus and not having Marino, not having another center mid there, that would have been great, right? Jesus comes on in this game. 100%. Yeah, when they turn to him, he's got his sling on. Marino, that was pretty funny.
Marino looked so sad, dude. And yeah, you could tell. I was thinking, I think at halftime, my shout for, hey, maybe we should sub one of our midfielders since we have all these yellows and an injury. I did think it'd be great if we could have Mikel Merino. But that's just the luck of the game, dude. That's a very unfortunate injury, and we can chat more about it during the transfer window roundouts and the ratings that we'll share. I think we haven't really talked about our goal, which happened in the first half. Was it?
Yes.
Saka wins that big challenge against Luis Dunk. That was incredible. And then slots through King Kai. The thing about King Kai that doesn't get talked about enough is since he drops so deep in midfield, he's always making a deeper run as a striker. Have you noticed that? Like, we haven't had a forward go through the line as much as actually he has been going. Against Liverpool, he had that chance. This was very similar to it, kind of a deep running striker run. And then I really enjoyed the finish, dude. It reminded me of the Euros. I think he had a chance to chip the goalkeeper in the Euros against maybe Spain it was, and he missed the chip. He hit it over. But this one, he measured it perfectly, and you want to see your striker chip the goalkeeper.
You wanted to see that, to be honest with you. I mean, great play by Saka to win that. Great ball to him. Wasn't super confident. Like, to me, it was a 50-50. I saw the ball going wide, and I saw it also hitting the back of the net. I didn't know. I'm flipping a coin at that point. But to his credit, man, that's shut up the haters, right? Shut up the haters. The one in the second half, I don't really put much blame on. I would have loved if he finished it. But it's a tough chance. The guy's all over him. Did his best, got it on frame. But the first half one, that's when you have to finish, right? You're all by yourself. Keeper's coming out. Chip the keeper. Show your class. And he did it. So our two standouts for me this season, Kai and Saka. They've been excellent. Saka had an amazing first half. Absolutely put that kid on toast. That left back. We should have just been going back to the well over and over and over. That kid was out of his league. But both of them are my standouts so far this season.
Absolutely. The link up between the two of them has been great. And you know what's underrated about TP5 is he's very good at hitting that pass to Saka. Just slotting it in between Ben White and their left mid. So it just skips him and goes to Saka. He's so good at pinging that, dude. Look, going back to the officiating, man, we really try to avoid having any bias because when we speak about officiating, because this ref in general, he missed too many things, dude. There was a corner for Brighton where it went off of Big Gabby. I was so surprised they didn't give that. There was one where Mitoma just absolutely took out Saka. No foul, right around their 18. That was super weird, dude. And then this left back, why wasn't he on a yellow? There was one when Saka skins him. I think it is pretty early. It's like the 6th minute or so. But from behind, he pulls him down. Like, yeah, that's a yellow. I don't get it, man.
Ref was... I don't think this guy should be put on any more Arsenal games. I think there is a bias with this guy. I mean, I've seen so many posts recently, and they're great because they're using numbers. Like, this isn't like to the letter of the law, which is absolute bullshit because the letter of the law isn't applied to how many other situations in the game. Just so happens to be in the corner when Declan Rice gets kicked. But applying the letter of the law out the window. But it's like in the last, what I'm reading here, the last 13 games with him in charge, we've won 4. Like, that's crazy. Isn't that, like, that doesn't make sense. 13 games, obviously there's a few draws in there. We've won 4. And the amount of, he's had like red cards overturned. I think he gave Gabby and Smith Rowe red cards in games, which VAR then overturned. He didn't give Luke Ayling a red card for that 2-footed tackle he had on Gabby, it's like the most blatant things in the world. I mean, VAR obviously gave him a red card, but this guy, there's the fact that there's people willing to go back in time to look up the games he was in charge on, and like 17 red cards to the opponent's 9. And it's just craziness. And it's like a lot of them are second yellow situations. He's the one that did the Tomiyasu. That one got me last year against Crystal Palace.
Wow, yeah.
When IU, like, he barely touched him and he gave him a second yellow. It's like, obviously the threshold for this guy to give an Arsenal player a red card is super, super low. Like, he's looking for it. That's, at this point, it's like, this guy's looking for it, right? I don't know about, maybe we need to reach out to Tonali and maybe Ivan Toney. Maybe this guy's I don't know. Seen it here in American sports where referees are in on that stuff, making bets. But it's real fishy. It stinks, right? It really stinks. And I don't think this guy should be on our games anymore.
It's really strange, dude. He has been an official in the Premier League since April of 2017. So for 7 years, he's been in the league. Not as long of a tenure as I had expected, but I did feel like, I've been watching this guy ref for a decade, so I feel like it's pretty in line. And I think what I really struggle with, put the explanations, put the inconsistency, put all these things aside, dude. What I don't understand is why Premier League officials seem to have tenure for life. Like, Chris Kavanagh has a similar name to Supreme Court Justice Chris Kavanagh in the United States. And these guys are, but he's not a Supreme Court Justice. Why does he get life tenure? I don't understand. Mike Dean would have literally officialed until he fell to his knees on the pitch if for some reason he didn't finally step down like 2 years ago, dude. So some turnover. We have turnover in managerial positions. We have turnover in the players with the transfer window. We have turnover in the organization itself with CEOs, etc. Why don't we have turnover within officials? What is the performance review process like? Talk to me.
Yeah.
Explain it to me.
It's crazy like that they're a separate entity. I don't know how they get away with that. It's like not officially a part of like the league. It's like this separate entity. And I guess it's to protect themselves. But to your point, it's like abuse of power at this point, right? It's like they're doing whatever they want. No accountability. It's like year in, year out with the same stuff. Like, don't tell me you're applying the letter of the law. Like, that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Like, well, I think someone was like reading the lips of him. It's like, well, you touched the ball. Like, I have to. You gave me no choice. I have to give you a red card. It's like, well, what about the 10 players swarming you? Is that to the letter of the law? I thought that was now a thing where you can't swarm the referee, but that was thrown out the window. João Pedro in the first half kicking the ball away. That was thrown. And like, I'm fine with that. I'm fine that they didn't give him a yellow card. The Arsenal players like appealed like, hey, didn't give it. That's fine. Like, it's not a big deal. This instance where the ball's rolling, he taps it away, gets kicked. It's like, have some decency, right? Last game, Ben White and McGinn. It's good refereeing, like just being like, guys, that was funny and I loved it, but like, don't do that again. Like, just if it happens again, I'm gonna card you. Like, that's great. That's the right way to referee a game. This is nonsense. The threshold, I'm telling you, is on the actual floor. It's on the floor, man.
Dude, and the way some other leagues use the technology, this is the other aspect of it, dude. The same day, I watched RB Leipzig were playing Bayern Leverkusen in the Bundesliga. The game ended 3-2. It was a really good game, dude. But there was a moment in the second half where the Leipzig left back had the ball and was dribbling outside of his 18, and the striker pressed him. The guy goes to kind of protect his position with a little bit of a stiff arm, but it's to the player's chest, but the player holds his face and goes down. And in live, the referee called a foul on Leipzig for hitting the striker in the face and gave a yellow to that player. And then they called him to go and review it because they said it actually didn't hit his face. He's faking it. Like, it hit his chest. He went and he overturned his own call, dude. So the fact that I just see this in another league on the same day, and then I see the technology just not being used appropriately in this league is so bizarre, dude. So bizarre.
It is bizarre. You know, on the replay, like when you're watching it, what's so funny to me is Veltman is like, he's trying to help Reiss up. I think he's like, shit, like, I think I fucked up. That was bad. Like, that was bad for me. And then like the shock of, I'm watching like when he's holding the yellow card, and then I realize there's a red card in his hand. I'm like, what's going on? Like, and then you see Reiss's face, like his jaw drop. But like the fact that Veltman is the one, it's like, use your brain, just use your brain. And let's go to the arson quote. You know, if I die, I'm gonna ask where the referees are. Like, it holds true to this day as an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, and look, my general point of it is that they had VAR. They could have told the official to go and look at it. The ball was still rolling. So technically, he couldn't have restarted it anyways.
Letter of the law, Keon. Letter of the law.
Therefore, just let them play, right? But no, this is an instant where we don't need you to see anything, and what you've done is great. So, listen, man, before we wrap up the game and go into the transfers, what did you make of Trossard's performance? Obviously, he got the start. We've had this big left wing debate. And Personally, I feel like we come back from international break and Sticks is on that starting sheet, bro. I'm telling you right now.
I kind of think he will be too. I kind of think Martinelli will start the next game. I don't think Trossard played bad, and he had a few good moments. I know he put in a few good crosses. And it's tough to say is after the red card, I mean, it's not a Trossard game at that point, right? Martinelli comes on. I really am surprised he didn't get a single chance. Like, to me, he's the guy that's going to be bursting through on a counter, getting the chances. Kai and Saka were there. Where's Martinelli at? No clue. But did Trossard do enough? I don't know, man. It's a tough one. To me, I'm a ride with Leo. That's my guy. I'm gonna go with Leo, but I would not be surprised to see Nelly back.
It's interesting watching his performance. I felt a lot more calm in the first half watching us as a team. I felt like as a whole squad we were more comfortable. I felt like it's a little bit more predictable what's gonna happen when he gets the ball, or you're a little bit more comfortable with him keeping possession.
When you say predictable, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think sometimes our own players don't know what to expect from Martinelli. Like, is the ball going to make it across? Is he about to make the extra pass? Should I be far post? Or is he just going to take it himself? I just feel like there's a little bit of surprise with him. Okay. Whereas with Leo, we feel like he'll keep the ball. He'll find me if I make the run. He'll get his shot off if he has to. It just feels a little bit more sure about how the game's going to play out.
You know what? I'm like only really thinking about the second half, and like nothing really happened with Trossard there. But the first half, I think you're making good points. We played really well, and there wasn't a lot of wasted opportunities from the left. I think that's our issue with Martinelli recently. It's a lot of wasted chances, potential chances, because like you're saying, unpredictable. I don't know if he's going to cross it, if he's going to shoot it, he's going to dribble to the end line. Maybe when it's a corner, you don't know what's going to happen. With Trossard, the ball's going to keep moving. Either he's going to get in a good ball or he's going to keep moving. The flow is better. We were talking about the piece of the puzzle. I think he fits the puzzle better. So to your point, yeah, I'm stuck thinking about the second half. But the first half, we played really well. We played really, really good ball. So I'm hoping he starts the next game. But I would not be surprised if he doesn't.
No, me neither. But, I mean, we're not going to talk about that for a couple of weeks, man. Let's chat some transfers, dude. Obviously, the window closed Friday night, and there was some deadline day business, as we promised. So, shout out to Edu on the grill. Edu got a lot of backlash. I feel like we should maybe start there, dude, because I was very shocked when I woke up, I think Saturday morning, to hashtag Edu out trending. Did you see Edu out trending?
I've seen some issues. So let's just preface this. Me and KP, we were together Friday night. So deadline ended here 6 p.m. In DC. We were together. We actually got some barbecue Friday night, and we were eating during this.
Barbecue, by the
way. During this. And we were talking about the transfer, and we are completely on the other side of the ball. We thought it was a good window. Yes, I think saved it at the end. Absolutely saved it. And if we didn't get it over the line, we're like, if we don't get these over the line, then like it's really bad. But we did. So our view was very good. And then, like you're saying, next day I'm seeing Edu out. We really kind of blew this window. Terrible window for us. So I was very interested by that dialogue.
Fascinating perspectives out there, dude. I mean, I feel like going into the window, the general expectations from the fan base was we need a defender, we need a center mid, a box-to-box center mid, and we need an attacker. We need a game changer. Now, the attacker part, I think you can take that in multiple directions, but that was the general vibes, right? Now, is Edu to be blamed that Mikel Merino lost his first duel ever in training? I don't know. I don't think so. But I feel like he delivered 2 out of the 3. And this Raheem Sterling deal is one to watch, dude. It's going to be pretty exciting. We'll get takes on that. But overall, Edu, the window... And I think from the beginning of the summer, you and I at least, we were saying we just need to shed some weight. And we did. I think this transfer window was about efficiency. And that's what we got. We shipped out, 12 players? At least 8. 5 of them from the first team that I can know top of my head. And then we brought in quality. So out of 10, I would give it an 8, personally. I think if a Nico Williams comes in, it's a 10, baby. But for where we are today, I'm at an 8.
I think we're being a bit greedy. Like, I just think as a fan base, we're a bit greedy. That's what I'm feeling. Like, our net spend is almost 0. So everyone's like, well, why aren't we splashing the cash? Why aren't we splashing the cash? But that's not what this is about. I think the outgoings was that's a huge thing for us. I mean, so we got Eddie, Ramsdale, Reiss even left on deadline day. I didn't expect that one to go. Smith Rowe. And that's 4 players. Got good amounts for 3 of them. Like, those sells were good. What we expected at the beginning of the summer, like, we got in the range of those. Love that. And then the incomings. We were looking for 1 defender, 1 midfielder, and a forward. Couldn't pull off the forward like you're saying. We're wanting the big guy, a big name to come in. But Sterling, like, it's a stopgap, and it's an excellent deal, right? Like, financially for us. I mean, screw Chelsea. They're going to have to be paying most of his wages. Love that. But, like, yeah, Sterling's going to be able to come in. We're talking about a 29-year-old giving us his body. Saudi Arabia was coming for him, and he's like, no, I want to stay in the Prem. He still feels like he has something to prove. I think he probably wants to try to get back into the national team squad. He wants to get back in there. I think he's going to do well for us. The goalkeeper thing is probably the only point where I can see, like, yeah, maybe we dropped the ball a bit. We thought this young guy was going to come in. Espanyol said 30 mil. That's it. Would have been terrible business, right? I'm glad we didn't pull the trigger. Like, we didn't make any rash decisions. Neto, come play for us for a year. It's stopgaps. Sterling is a stopgap. Neto is a stopgap. We have time now to prepare for January. We have time to prepare for next summer. Like, I don't know why people are freaking out about it. I think these are good stopgap solutions, and we're going to be fine. We're moving forward. We run it back a lot. We want to have a good core of players. 17 deep now? We could probably be 17, 18 players deep versus last season we were 14 deep. Not good enough. So we got more players now that can actually produce. I'm with an 8 out of 10 for sure.
No, I think that's all well put, man. And Raheem Sterling, look, he provides the cover across the line. I am happy we got the forward. I was more on the side of, I don't think we're going to have a deadline day forward signing, but it was good to see him. He's won the league. He's been in it for a long time, playing competitively. And we already have a left wing who misses it just wide or doesn't make the extra pass. So I just think add him to the mix and we'll see. Maybe he will make the extra pass. Maybe he will also help our other wingers. Of course he can, right? And one of the things about him that Saka can learn a lot is how to get penalties. I think we have to talk about that. There's some lessons there. Bukayo, he had a chance against Brighton again, dude, to maybe deploy some dark arts, but he held the spell. He held back the spell. So I don't know.
That's funny. This is like, to me, the worst case scenario for this is like nowhere near the Willian transfer, right? Like, there's no way to me Sterling is like going to be sitting on the bench in the reserve, just never playing. Like, he's going to be a part of the team. Like, it's only the ceiling is the question. What can he actually do for us? Like, the floor, he's going to be able to at least become a rotational player for us and take minutes and do something. Like, there's no way unless he gets injured in like the next month. That's worst case scenario. But like, to me, he's a good enough player to produce for us. So I'm excited about it. I think it's a good move.
It is, dude, and it was always about raising the floor, Steven. Don't forget that. So, we'll see, man. The number 10. They gave him the number 10. Did you have any thoughts on that? Because when you texted me that, because they didn't announce his number initially with the transfer, they really sat on it for a couple of days to announce his number, and then you sent that text. I was shocked. I am shocked by the 10.
I don't love it. I don't love it personally. I was kind of hoping he could get like a 7 or something like that. When I saw the 10, and like, shoot me down on this if you think I'm talking absolute BS. But when I saw him get the 10, to me, I'm thinking Edu, Arteta playing 4D chess here. They're playing the long game. They want him to come in, have a good season, and next summer he's going to be like, I only want Arsenal. I only want Arsenal. Only sell me to Arsenal. Like, that's kind of what I'm feeling. It's like they want this guy to be as comfortable as possible. They want him to then join the team for the next 2 years. I might be just chatting absolute shit. I don't know. But like when I saw that, I was like, damn, they're giving him the 10. That's crazy.
It's crazy. Maybe he's a curse breaker. I don't know. Maybe they're like, this guy's he's a buster, you know? So let's see, dude. The Neto deal, yeah, the goalkeeper situation. I was always worried about making a deal too close to deadline day for the goalkeeper situation. Not so much the sell of Ramsdale. I was always worried about how you get the other deal over the line because, yeah, Espanyol was always going to hold their ground. They had every right to say you have to pay 30 million. So for us to maybe not have anticipated that, but maybe we did because the Neto deal did happen pretty swiftly, pretty quickly, and I'm content with it. He's played at Barcelona as a backup. He's been in the Prem as a starter. I think he's a great number 2 to have in the squad. And he's Brazilian.
I agree with you. I think the naysayers might say, well, why didn't it happen earlier? Why didn't it happen earlier? He should have already been... Obviously, we're trying to get a better deal for Arsenal across the line, and it didn't happen. But it's a stopgap, man. It's just a year. I'm cool with it. Like, we're expecting Raya. If Raya's fit, he's going to basically play every game possible except the Cups. Like, if he's healthy. Barring an injury, he's playing basically every game. So it's really just Neto's there just in case insurance policy.
Yeah. All right. Well, put the incomings aside. Some outgoing business happened in the last 48 hours of the window. Aaron Ramsdale to Southampton, officially done. Eddie, he's going to fly. Fly Eagles, fly Eddie. It's beautiful, man. Poetic. Reiss Nelson to Fulham. Reiss is the only one who's alone from the English boys, and he'll be returning, I think, next season. So I'm excited. I'm excited to watch Eddie for Crystal Palace. I'll definitely tune in for 1 or 2 games. And for Ramsdale, I don't know. I don't know how many Southampton games I'll watch, but I wish him the best.
Yeah, wish him the best. I think he had a terrible start, didn't he?
They put 3 past him, yeah.
Yeah.
Brentford did.
Tough. And that he really didn't have a chance at any of them. I watched that Chelsea Crystal Palace game, and I would have loved Eddie to come on late. I think he could have done something, no lie. Like Chelsea were begging for the L. They were begging for a loss, but it didn't happen. But hopefully after the break he comes back.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, this is why you can't judge Raheem Sterling for the last couple of seasons at Chelsea, because Chelsea are a team who lose to City, go beat Wolves 6-2, and then draw 1-1 against Palace. So you can't you can't know what to expect there. You can't judge him based on that. If Kai Havertz are any indications, there should be some production this season. I was really shocked by the Reiss Nelson move, though. I will say that. I felt like maybe he should have stayed.
That's a good point. I'm gonna pull up the bench here from the last game. So our subs, we got on Zinchenko, Martinelli, and Calafiori. Those were our 3 subs. On the bench still was Waneri, Salah Eddin, Jorginho, Tommy Setford, Kiwior, and Miles Lewis-Skelly. That is light. That is really, really light. Obviously, you would love to have Jesus there and Marino. Those would be the 2. And then we just picked up Sterling, so that'd be the 3rd. With those 3 guys, that's okay. Our bench is looking tight. Got some of those young guys that are just filling the spots now. They'd be heading off. So the bench would look good. But that bench for that game, that is light. And that is a game where, would Reiss get on? That's what makes me kind of apprehensive to even have a take like this. Is like, would Reiss even get on? I kind of doubt that he would, right? The bench would look better with Reiss's name on it, but I even doubt that he would play. So maybe we're just chatting shit.
No, it's possible. I doubt he plays too, I'll be honest with you, because it's just the first immediate thought is get Leo off and put on a defender. Come on, man. Why did that take so long? Put that aside. Listen, so good window. It's all over now. Going on international break for the next 2 weeks. We'll be here. We'll drop a couple of episodes here and there. So make sure you're subscribed. But let's chat around the league. Obviously, 3 weeks in the books now. I shared the top 4 standing. I think this past weekend, the highlight was everyone laughing at Manchester United. To your point of splashing the cash, why should we splash the cash? We have a very good team, dude. Look around the league.
Oof. 10 more years, man. They look bad. Casemiro, poor guy. I mean, put this dude, they need to put him to sleep. Like, man, that was tough. I watched a comp of him today. I think he only played the first half. And it was basically every time he had the ball in possession and passed. And he just looks, I feel bad for him. Like, I just feel bad because he's a good player, but he's just not up for it anymore. All 3 of their goals, self-inflicted wounds. I mean, I love seeing a ball go past Onana, to be fair, though. Fantastic. But less about United. And how about Liverpool? They look tough, man. That looks like a good team.
Absolutely. My biggest takeaway from these first 3 weeks is that I fear Liverpool the most, dude. I still fear Liverpool the most. City, I mean, look, they just keep winning, right? They won their first 3 games without Rodri, without Foden. Haaland is putting in back-to-back hat tricks. Like, you just know what to expect with City. Whatever. That's annoying. I don't even really consider them as our competition, right? Liverpool from the rest of the bunch, I fear Liverpool the most. And they look good, dude. Little sleeping giant. I guess next season, by the way they were chatting about the game, is going to be really critical for them in the transfer window because Salah's contract runs out. Trent Alexander-Arnold's contract runs out. Van Dijk's contract runs out. Van Dijk, by the way, great performance over the weekend. Footballing pod, dude. I love seeing those kind of performances and the memes that came out of it. But Liverpool, tough, man. They look good. Yeah, they look very athletic in the middle. We know they're forwards. Good team, dude. Good team.
They're very good. And I think the classic Liverpool style, they like to feel sorry for themselves. They didn't pick up a 6 in the transfer window. But I'm looking at their bench yesterday. So we have a good friend in a group chat that's a Liverpool supporter. And, we're going to fall apart if we pick up an injury. I just, the wheels are going to fall off eventually. And then I'm looking at their bench. It's like they have like at least 2 good forwards. They have 2 good midfielders. One center, I guess center back is potentially maybe the only place if they have to play Joe Gomez. But like he can play outside back and I'd be happy with that. Like they are deep. Like that bench they had, it was deep. So I don't trust that. I think they're going to be here for the long haul this season. They fell off last season. They didn't have the juice. They look like the truth, man. I think this manager is going to be less apt to like Klopp's, Klopp's style was all gas, no brakes, all emotion, forward, run. I think this guy's going to be a little bit different. I think he's going to hold back the dogs a little bit. I like that he subbed Trent. He subbed Trent in like the first 3 games. Like, who cares if Trent's upset about it? As long as he's healthy and he's playing the majority of the game and you're up 3-0, it's fine, right? So I'm not even going to call him a sleeper. I'm not going to call him a dark horse. Like, they're just a good team straight up, right? Just straight up. 3rd place last year. They're straight up a good team.
Straight up, dude. I think it's totally fair to say Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester City, probably the 3 best teams from the first 3 weeks of the league. I put Brighton in there. I think they're rightfully in the top 4. Newcastle in 5th place. They've gone away with so many things. So I don't have too much to say.
Did you see that Tottenham game? Did you see the Tottenham?
I watched bits of it. I watched the first half. I didn't watch the second half.
It's so funny. Like, Tottenham deserved to win that game.
Really?
So it makes it even better that they did it because they were all over them. They were all over Newcastle. It's so funny, the chances that they were missing. And then, of course, Newcastle gets a late goal from Isak on a counter. So deserved from Tottenham. As much as we don't like Newcastle, it is always funny to see Tottenham just have their foot over the line and then somehow pull up and let the other guy go right past them. So funny.
They had the bottle graphic pop up when Newcastle scored. They show Tottenham's instead of doing a Newcastle animation. Listen, man, so from the other sort of big names, it looks like Tottenham, are in 10th place, Chelsea in 11, and United in 14. I guess if you were to assess your top 4 prediction after the first 3 weeks and some things that we've seen, who do you think picks up that 4th spot from these names?
I'm going to go with Villa. I think Une and them boys, man, they look really good. Who'd they play this weekend? They had Leicester, beat them 2-1. I didn't watch that game. Playing Villa, just the way they've looked. I think Onana was a good signing for him. He just fits with the way they play. So I'm going with Une and them boys.
Onana, he scored again, dude. He's
Yes,
been
sir.
listening. He has been listening to the pod.
Who you got? Who you got for 4th?
4th. Just to have some fun. I think Newcastle get into the 4th place. I was just about to say Chelsea, but at the last moment, I just thought Newcastle. I can see them getting into 4th spot. They need to do some business in January, but in the first half that I watched, they're still very good at home, dude. Let's see.
Yeah, that's fair. It is crazy that there's just those top 3 teams. So Arsenal, City, Liverpool, and then there's like that drop. And when you hit that drop, it's from 4th to like 8th, 9th, 10th. There's like that gap. There's a big majority of teams where if they hit a run, like they can jump up, they can drop down, but no one seems to be consistent enough in that region to really like solidify themselves as number 4.
Yeah, at least right now. That's the one thing about this early games is that it does feel like no one's really fully prepared. I think you've touched on it a little bit. Like Arsenal, we're not really full swing. Even with a Villa game, Villa weren't totally full swing. I don't know. That's the vibes I'm getting at least. Have you been surprised by anything in the first 3 weeks of the league?
I'm actually looking at the table now. Let's look at the bottom. There's a surprise at the very bottom. Everton. They always bait us. Like they want to get relegated and they never do. 0 points, -8 goal differential after 3 games. That's tough. They had that game this week. They had it. I turned it off. 2-0 Everton. I turned it off. 3-2 at the end. That's so funny. But that to me is a surprise.
It is surprising how often they stay up with the way that they start the season. And Sean Dyche at the wheel, but man, it's looking tough out there, bro. This might be the season they finally go down.
I think the other surprise would probably be United at 14, 3 points after their first 3 games. I'm sure they expected more. Like they had to have expected more than that. But I mean, it's early. I think it's crazy that there's an international break, to be honest with you. And they're like calling up the dogs, like Reiss, Saka getting called up for this. I'm very surprised. In my opinion, it's like, let these guys, let's choose some younger folks or some players that aren't really with the national team, see what they got, give them a few chances, and then eventually go back to the real dogs of our team and bring them in. I can't believe the Euros just happened, season started. All right, let's come back to the international break. I don't really like this, to be honest.
Yeah, that is really surprising. After a major tournament, to recall everyone just 3 weeks later. Is it just to assess their fitness levels? It's shit, dude. Everyone's fitness level is shit. You don't need to test it, dude. I'm looking at it and my eyes are telling me Declan Rice has been tired since he got back. So I can just see it. Something happened this week, actually, that we should probably close out with, dude. So after the international break, we're playing the North London Derby on Sunday. Then we have Atalanta in the Champions League on Thursday. And then it's Manchester City away on Sunday. So it's going to be firing on all cylinders as soon as we come back. But let's chat a little bit about the Champions League draw. That took place on Friday or Thursday, I think. General vibes, I think it's a great draw for Arsenal. I like the matchups.
I like them. I think it's cool. We'll see how it goes, but I might be sold on the new system. I think it's cool. There's a lot of big games for this, like the league part of it, like the actual qualification for knockouts. There's a lot of big matchups versus, you get your 3 teams. There's typically a top dog, 3 maybe so-so teams. Like this one, we get to play PSG tight. We get to play Inter. That's cool. Atalanta, they're good. There's some cool matchups there. So I'm expecting good things from us, of course, but I'm with this new system. I think it's pretty cool. I think Liverpool got a really tough draw, which is poor old Liverpool, right in line with what they wanted. Poor old Liverpool.
Poor old Liverpool, dude. But whatever. I like our draw, and yeah, it is cool. The new system looks pretty fun. They had some good, call them ads for it. It's some content explaining it all, but also just how they opened the draw ceremony. It was very well done. It included a lot of the footballing legends and the new president who came up with the system. So I enjoyed it. It was fun. Cristiano was involved in the draw. He was the one pressing the button for the names to pop up. We'll see. The home and away system's interesting. From the schedule, one matchup I'm really excited about is the Sporting game. This guy Victor Gyökeres plays for that team. I've seen him all over the timeline. A lot of people chatting about it, and it would be cool. I like when we play teams where I'm constantly hearing about a player, and now I get to see him against our defense. So it'll be a pretty good test.
I like that. Just like you're talking about Sesko at the Euros. Got to see him play England. Like, these are the players he'd be playing with or against. So that was cool. I'm excited for that one. I'm looking at our schedule. November, this is kind of a tough run. Okay. So we have Liverpool at home. This is the end of October. Next game is away to Newcastle, away to Inter, and then away to Chelsea. That's like all in a row, 4 games in a row. Woof. That's tough.
Yeah, and that will be a huge testament as to if Edu deserves an F for the transfer window or not, because we're going to find out a lot about our players just before the January window. All right, man, it feels like a good place to leave this one. Is there anything else you want to get on?
Last question before we wrap up. As of today, we'll probably hit this again next episode. As of today, you're 3 in the midfield for the North London Derby.
That's so easy, dude. It's so easy. Unless Mikel Merino is faking an injury, which I saw online someone suggested. That's crazy. Don't even be putting that tinfoil hat on. I think it's gonna be King Kai, TP5, and Martin Odegaard in the middle. Jesus returns to the team, hopefully goes up top. Or if not, I'm actually inclined to say Martinelli goes up top, Sterling out wide. We're going to have some fun. We're going to have some fun with these rotations, but that's where I'm at. Yours is different?
No, I'll save it for next episode.
Fair play.
I'm banking on a fake injury at this point.
Fair play, dude. All right. Well, thanks everyone for spending time with us. We appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your week. Hopefully, it's going to be a nice and cool international break for everyone. We'll see you at an upcoming date. You'll find out soon. See you on the other side.
Be easy.